Joanne Taft from Team Forum, and I'm delighted to be here with Sami, Managing Partner, Telco Plus NCS, which is part of the Singtel Group. Sami, it's great to have you with us for our new podcast series. Perhaps you could begin by briefly outlining your role at NCS.
Oh, absolutely, and kind of thanks for inviting me for a chat. So it's not the first chat we've had, so always had a great time kind of exploring different industry issues. So the NCS is the services arm of the Singtel Group, and Telco Plus within the NCS is helping the group to do joint initiatives because we have 6 telcos in the group. And every telco is focusing on their daily business. So we are then the one that is acting as a kind of glue between the different telcos to share the innovation and the ideation that comes from individual telcos. And then we work as a working arm for the telcos then to go ahead and implement those things as well. And we work a lot with Bridge Alliance as well within the Asia, which is the alliance of the 34 operators here in the region as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've brought you along today to talk about all things AI, whether it's generative AI, predictive AI, or even machine learning if you want. We see lots of individual use cases for predictive AI, Gen AI. Yep. I was just wondering how well the telecoms industry is doing overall when it comes to sort of harnessing and making use of the potential of AI in whatever form it takes.
Yes. I think the industry is really rushing into it. So it's been taken by storm. And when I've been kind of thinking about it, that why the adaptation has been so quick, that we kind of learn as we run. And we're in the competition, and we're learning within the competition of kind of running forward. And I think the kind of how I think about it is the reason is that the industry is facing headwinds, and it's really 2 things. So, well, actually 1 thing, which is our top line is not growing anymore as it used to do the past 30 years because of the new generation. There was a higher ARPU, next generation, new things, and then 4G finally the video streaming, which was a jackpot, and now with 5G, nothing. So it's not kind of bringing in what we thought as an industry it would bring in. Then the other thing is of course the economic environment because of the interest rates. So the other thing is that if you look at the telcos, their balance sheet, and look at their what I call WACC to ROIC ratio, so weighted average of cost of capital and return of invested capital. And most of the telcos have currently a higher WACC than ROIC. That means that if you don't do anything, your corporate value is declining. And yes, there are exceptions, but still majority are facing it. So there is this kind of macroeconomic pressure that is kind of pushing us to finally start to transform, because when the COVID came, we didn't transform, everybody else transformed. We just rerouted or balanced the volumes from the cities to suburbs. And then we went along, but we didn't. But now we need to transform. And at the same time as this kind of a thing has been happening in the macroeconomic environment, the AI came. And especially the Gen AI. So it started to be in the point of maturity that you can really, really exploit it. And of course, all the LLMs and the others, the maturity coming up to kind of create this momentum. So what better kind of way to start to optimize yourself than using AI and Gen AI? So the rather than going to traditional RPA, the automation things. So everybody rushed into it, and we all have tens of use cases we've been implementing on the Gen AI, and we are learning on the way, and we find ahead of us the things we didn't do in the past, and the things are like the quality of data, because AI is its food is data. Of course, it's utilizing LLM, which is the generic data, but for us to automate ourselves and make ourselves more efficient, to become more customer focused, individual focused, solve problems faster, we need to have a really quality data. And that what we have now found ahead of us, kind of hitting when we started to implement AI. So there's a lot of lessons learned, which were some of them were quite obvious but surprising still. So data, of course, we all knew we're going to face the challenge that the quality of the Gen AI and AI depends on the quality of the data, and also how well we train it, because it's like a student. You need to train it, and it just learns very quickly, rather than us. But it's the same. You can use the same kind of paradigm as with the students overall. Then with the data became surprises was that we didn't pay enough attention where it had access to. So we have cases where we had to quickly go and press the red button, stop, because we realized that now the AI had access to a too wide kind of segment of data, and it started to bring up information to, for example, to a call center agent that the call agent is not allowed to see. And luckily we found those in testing phases. But it's kind of a new things like how do you create the data governance? So how do you control the access? Then the other thing is, which has been a surprise, is that when we are using the global player LLMs, when we query, it actually leaves tracks that what did we query, and we need to disable it so that the competitors don't find out what we are asking over there. So and we didn't know that, honestly. We didn't. When we started up, we didn't know that. So while we are kind of rushing through, we are learning all these kind of new things, and once we started to get the new cases up, and we solved the data governance problems, we solved the data problems, we faced the challenge of teaching a class of students. And what I mean by that is like when we went for the user acceptance test, in the past we knew what's the right answer, what's the wrong answer. Now it's not anymore. So it's generating the answer. So we'll just need to is that okay or is that not okay? What the bot gave us as an answer, and so it became like honestly like doing a school exam grading. Okay, that's a B plus. That's a C plus answer, and then also it's like, okay, what's good enough, and and this relates to the concept of go live. What is a go live? Because now you have this AI that is on seventh grade, and it's been giving you a C plus. Okay, so you kind of let it go to the eighth grade, even though it only got C plus. It's not that you kind of only pass students with A plus to the next grade. But then the goal line became that, okay, because it's really going to the eighth grade, so actually we just add 100 more users and let it learn with the 100 more users, which are users that understand the nature of the thing that is giving it answers. So it can make a judgment call when it sees the answers. Okay, is that okay or not, and then do it. So it has becoming and like I said, but it does grade very quickly. So it learns very quickly, rather than the students don't take a year to learn the next grade objectives. They do very quickly, but it has changed radically the way how we look at putting these things alive. Out with the call centers, or just giving it giving the Gen AI into hands of the consumer. Did you see the legal case in Canada where Air Canada got charged by
Yes.
and and you can't imagine what reaction that created in the industry. So I've had so many discussions now that how we prevent the misbehavior of AI, Gen AI, because it's now an employee. So it's employee giving advice to the end customer. So that's why this kind of like this testing thing has been really interesting experience. How you need to change the way you look at it. That's what's the go live. So we we don't really go live, especially with the customer related things on a big bang, because we need to make sure that the AI really is learning, has had an opportunity to learn properly, and we've looked at the governance and all the rest over there. And then, the interesting thing as well, which has caught me by surprise, honestly, in the past 9 months with this Gen AI thing, is that how much we need to talk to the regulator. So, we are now using AI with filtering the scam messaging, because like Singapore is the scam country of the world. So there is the biggest kind of losses of money in Singapore because people respond to scams. So,
Yeah.
and of course, the regulator is forcing us and the banks to make sure that we do everything possible to reduce scams. And that's really difficult because the scammers are using naturally AI, so there's no templates you can do. So you need to attack AI with an AI, but then it becomes kind of quite a sensitive area. That how do you intervene messaging? So there's a lot of regulator discussions we need to do in order to kind of implement some of the network related AI cases, so that we get okay from the regulators. Similar like this, the scam thing is an obvious case, but concerning kind of AI implementation in the network as well, and that we didn't have to do in the past.
I mean, all you're describing, it's an awful lot. So you said at the beginning you're running towards this. This is a
Yes,
lot to juggle while running,
it is.
especially if you don't
Yeah,
really know where you're going, I presume.
correct. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely, and that's why it was huge excitement at the start, and then we started to run, and then we found the first obstacle, the data, and then the AI went maverick because it utilized the data the wrong way. Then we realized in the testing, then we realized this. So we're kind of finding these things as we run, and then we kind of tell everybody, okay, let's change the testing kind of approach. Let's do here's the data governance requirements. Here's the regulatory requirements. If you touch this, and this, you need to contact the regulator. So we are kind of changing the rules how we automated telcos in the past 30 years as we run now, and we do it very very quickly because we are implementing these things. So the whole rules of implementations are changing as we go overall, and of course when you do that you do mistakes, but then you need just learn very quickly from your mistakes overall. So it's but I honestly I think it's super exciting times for the industry now, and I'm really glad that we are kind of finally transforming, and that we are truly embracing the AI, Gen AI, but we just need to really understand what it does, and how it behaves. It was interesting. I was talking with some of the regional kind of telcos and their legal people, and they were really concerned because their thinking was that okay, now we have these IT departments and the network guys and the others, and they keep developing these solutions, and what if it starts to misbehave? And what if it doesn't make the concrete conclusion? Because in the past, it was an algorithm that we used, so you could prove that algorithm works the way it works. Now with the Gen AI especially, it is like working with the human beings. So it's not we work everybody works exactly the same way and comes up with exactly the same conclusion over there, and so this misbehavior is causes a lot of discussion, and like I say, the Air Canada kind of really woke folks up that okay, and that was a minor case, so that was like it could be very different.
And of course, telecoms has a reputation as being quite a risk adverse industry. Apart from the fact that
Oh,
there's a lot of
absolutely.
regulation as well. I mean, has this risk aversion put a bit of a spanner in the works compared to other industries? Do you think telecoms is going more slowly, or is it driving a cultural change? AI, is it helping sort of move the telecoms sector into another sort of way of operating?
I honestly, because I'm a positive person, so my glass is always half full. So, so, so I truly believe that this is kind of changing our culture. Yes, of course, we need to be super careful, and there is this kind of conservative mindset kind of everywhere. But now we have this kind of economic pressure that we are not performing well enough, and this gives us tools to make us more efficient. I mean, like really more efficient. So some of the processes in the telcos kind of they are awful. So we are wasting so much money, and so this can really change the way we operate the companies because well, I'm just that's my own opinion, but I think the telcos still operate the same way as they did in the 90s, and so and this is like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the world has moved along. So it is this AI hype is of goodness, but it's not only hype.
Mm.
It is a real thing, and we see real benefits, which are then accelerating the journey. And the good thing about these AI Gen AI projects are that they don't take 3 years. So actually, you see results pretty quickly. So you're able to keep up the momentum by showing the
Mm.
results. But of course, people get scared on the way as well when they realize that this went maverick or that didn't work out. But
Mm.
so far, I haven't seen kind of anybody throwing spanners in a manner that it would stop it.
Yeah.
But of course, there has been a kind of halt that okay, hey, let's relook at and especially if we had to press the red button, the stop button, then there is okay, hey guys, what went wrong? Why did it have access to that data, even though it was not supposed to have that access? And then which is that we were writing the rules again. Okay, how do you develop these things? So, but no, it's exciting. So and it's a real thing.
Yeah, but the fact that I suppose going back to this idea at the beginning, you have lots of individual use cases, and when it
Yes.
comes to really sort of changing telecom processes, do you not need a sort of an end-to-end approach, which probably slows things down again? How do you bring these pieces
Use
together?
cases. Yeah, yeah. There's we're actually quite selective which ones we pick up because the imagination is the limitation of coming up with the new use cases, and we do look at and filter them quite kind of strict manner, but still we come up with a lot of the use cases. The the good thing about this is that you don't need to change all the backend to do this thing. So there are a lot of use cases which you can kind of go about and make a big difference, like the call centers. You're able
Yeah.
to do quick implementations which really make the call center agent more effective, more kind of knowledgeable of the person calling in, being able to solve network problems on the spot rather than writing a ticket for the network guys, and the network guys like, okay, I don't understand at all what's the problem, so they can't really solve it because the agent wasn't able to ask the right questions of the problem. So the AI and Gen AI is changing that. So the customer experience improves quite dramatically if we look at the NPSs when it's been an Gen AI assisted call, or whether the consumer went straight to a Gen AI. But the NPS comparison, of course, is very easy with the human agent having an assisted or non-assisted. Simple things like field force ticketing prioritization using AI. It's a no-brainer, and we are able to do it without changing anything in the back end. We have the network data, like I said, the resolving network issues become a no-brainer. We have the data. And so it's not something that we would need to change the backend. So you don't need to. That's the kind of a beauty of this thing. You don't need to redo the telco, because that would take the 3-4 years. And so we're able to do these kind of efficiency points, or the efficiency use cases kind of pretty quickly. Then we will need to go back and change the backend as well at the same time, at some point of time. But it's not that we are required to do the 3-year investment first and then go ahead, which is the beauty of
Does
this
it
thing.
inform how you change the back end?
Yes, it is, and the people look at the backend when you look at the Gen AI and AI, they're looking at data access. So it's like looking at how do we create a digital twin of the backend so that we have access to all data it has, and then to be able to Gen AI to have access to all the data, so that we don't need to go through the backend systems to retrieve the data, because that's too slow. But
Yeah.
to create a digital image of the backend and of its data. So that's a great point, actually, because that's where we are investing a lot of money now, is the data image, so that we have all data available for the Gen AI to have access to. But
Okay.
we don't need to, like I said, we don't need to change the backend systems for that, but we need to be able to extract the data, and also to keep the data pretty much real time in both sides, so that they don't go out of sync, so that what's inside the systems itself, and then the data presentation kind of next to it, that that stays in sync as well. But once you have that, you buy a lot of time then changing your backend, which will then look much more digital than it does today, because we are like banks. Our systems evolved over the decades,
Yeah.
similar like the bank backend systems evolved. So we are kind of hostage of our own development. But this extraction of data has has bought us a lot of time.
And is it making you maybe rethink transformation of back-end systems?
Absolutely,
What might they look like in, I don't know, three
absolutely.
years, 5 years'
Yes,
time?
it has, and it has kind of defined the target architecture where we want to move, and of course it's creating pressure for the big vendors like the Netcrackers, Amdocs, and the rest. That the world has, that all the telco world has changed actually quite quickly now in the past 2 years, and they need to be able to respond to the change in order to stay relevant. So because the industry will find the solutions, and the Gen AI is here to stay, so we are not going to move away from that. So it's going to be a data driven company that in the telco. So no question about it.
I mean, you've talked a lot about the importance of data, and obviously that's a given. But I suppose not every telco is starting from the same point. Some people, going back to your running analogy, some people are on like
Yeah.
an obstacle-strewn sort of dirt road, and other people are on a sort of a motorway. Do you think they're going to be sort of telco AI haves and have-nots, and how much will that matter if that's the case? If you don't get
Sorry.
on the AI bandwagon now,
Oh, yes.
how
Oh,
much will it
yeah.
affect your business?
I think it does, because the what we try to do now, of course, is we're trying to make the ROIC higher than the WACC. And if you're not able to do that, okay, it's a really bad thing for yourself. So I think that's kind of really dictates, and it will be visible, because the efficiency will be the key. The customer satisfaction will be the key. So we are in a churn industry. So if there is a superior service coming from somebody else, people churn.
Yeah.
And if you get a better quality network service, better quality customer service, or actually you don't need ever to call the customer service because you don't have the problem, and it's the telco is proactive. So when Joanne is having kind of problems with your coverage, it's reaching out to you and saying, "Hey Joanne, we notice you have a coverage. We're working on it. So sorry about the inconvenience." Before you start to think about calling your operator that, hey, I'm having problems. So that will matter, and that you can only achieve by going through this route of Gen AI. Otherwise, we are not able to create that experience and create the efficiency of doing it, because we are just spending too much money on operations.
And we've talked a lot about the sort of benefits of AI and Gen AI to telcos. I was just wondering, does it introduce any competitive threats, new competitive threats?
Well, if you we have a big baggage, which is the past 100 years of being telephony companies. If I was a startup, and if by miracle I would be able to get spectrum, the company would look very different to incumbent telco. The Gen AI kind of starting to do it from scratch. It would look very, very efficient, very, very customer focused, with very, very good service. So I think so, but I don't know whether it's good or bad. But the at least for the company I work we are really glad we own the spectrum, and
Yeah.
it's owned by us. So and that we are part of the critical infrastructure of a sovereign state makes a difference. So we have some uh, kind of competitive advantages than the newcomers are not able to overcome, giving us a little bit of time to kind of fix ourselves.
Oh, you said it, Sami, not me.
um,
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I think
but
that's probably
yeah.
I could probably keep you here for another hour, Sammy. It's always a delight to talk to you, but I know you have something you need to jump to. It's been great catching up with you. Thank you so much for taking the time.